committee meeting. Anyone want to start us out with prayer? I can do that. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this group gathered here tonight. We ask that you would give us the wisdom to do the business of our county. And we thank you for the wisdom that is here around the table this evening. We ask that you would give us all safety on the way home as well. In Jesus' name. Amen. We go on to approval of the agenda. Is there a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes of the meeting from May 5th. Questions? Motion to approve. Move to approve. Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries as well. Approval of claims. This evening we have claims totaling $425.53. Move to approve. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Public comment. Anybody here? That okay? We'll move on. Reports to the committee, and we'll start with Andrea. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start off with a little bit of just labor analytics, a little update from April. That would be the latest report that's out from Illinois Department of Employment Security. So we have an unemployment rate in Stephenson County of 3.6. That is down from 4.5, what it was in March. We have 760 individuals who are seeking employment who are unemployed in the county. And in the same month, we had 852 unique job postings in Stephenson County. And that was out of 256 employers. The average median salary of all of those postings is $26.52 per hour. That roughly equates to about $55,000 per year. So top companies that we see, especially this time of year, not uncommon: Freeport School District, Highland, Honeywell, Danfoss, FHN, and Acreage Holdings. And top occupations would be RNs, registered nurses, teachers, home health, truck drivers, and production workers. So I'm happy to supply you with more in-depth data if you're interested. Again, if you know people who are looking for jobs, the Workforce Connections would be a great place to send them. They're in the 524 building or the Crum and Forrester building right on Stephenson County. And
stop looking at me. That's a good job.
We also, if you go to the Partnership's website, there is some job resources there, and that can take you to a lot of listings which send you to a lot of these links. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. Talking more update on economic development, kind of workforce development. We're going to start off there this evening. We have been working with Freeport High School and Highland Community College on adopting Midland Institute's CEO entrepreneurship program. That's a mouthful. And it was originally started by the founder and president of Midland States Bank. It's no longer affiliated with that bank, but what it is it's a 4-credit program. You're shaking your head. Are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with one back in Effingham.
Yes,
the CEO program.
And that is exactly where it was started. So
Seriously?
yes, that is where the program is based.
Is their headquarters are there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so it's very prevalent in a lot of high schools or career tech, vocational ed in Southern Illinois, and it's kind of matriculated north. The closest existing program to us geographically is probably Sauk Valley area technical. It's basically their equivalent of career tech here, and it encompasses a number of schools in the Whiteside, Lee, Ogle County area. And so what it is, it's a partnership between a local school system or systems and area businesses to offer juniors and seniors in high school opportunities to get out into the community to meet businesses, while at the same time developing their own group business in the first semester, and in the second semester is their individual business. they work with a business mentor. They tour facilities, they have guest speakers. They earn class credit and a lot of soft skills. So it's been a very successful program, and many of the students who graduate then go on to, sometimes they go on to further their education, sometimes they go on to open up their business. There's been some instances, I think there's a boutique shop that's in Sterling Rock Falls that is a graduate of that class. So we had an introductory meeting with area business leaders. We're putting together a steering team that will meet later on this month with the goal to form a board by the end of this summer, so that in fall of 2026, the class would start. So kind of a whole school year to kind of do the programming and work that out. So we're very excited about that in terms of we understand how important the small business community is. We know that the childcare is still an issue as we try to attract and retain our talent. We sent out a childcare survey and we have the results back. We will be meeting with a stakeholder group later this month to talk in more depth. As you might have seen, the YMCA of Northwest Illinois put out a kind of an update on their project, and they have a letter of intent to purchase Stewart Center West. That's right there on the roundabout. This will be a multi-phase deal for them. The first will be childcare. This will move over first, and I think that construction would hopefully start very soon after capital fundraising is done. But that would allow them to double the number of slots that they have currently. So it's an exciting prospect. It's definitely needed. Those would be the main updates in workforce development. As we continue with business growth and expansion of sites, we continue working on the DCEO site readiness grant. I had the opportunity in the last month to meet with another landowner, and we got a letter of support from this individual. We're able to expand the area of study for the grant. So it makes sense to utilize the funds, and this allows us to just evaluate more greenfield space for development. Continue to work with a small manufacturer in Freeport that is looking to expand. We coordinated a meeting with the city. They would like to put another building on their property. We continue along with Beth to interface with 360 DMG. There was a traffic study done on their location out at Millrace Crossing to evaluate the location of a driveway. I think that is positive and is moving forward. I continue conversation with the owner. They have also purchased another building. This was probably been closed for a couple of months at where the Swing and Splash location is on South 26. This will enable them to get up to continue operations right away. They'd like to get out of where they're currently at, the KST building on 75. So I think they're in the process of moving. They also are in the process of setting up a foreign trade zone. They're working with foreign trade zone administrator to set that up. I had the opportunity to tour one of a vacant plant in downtown in the last month. I'm working with the city and a developer to look at potential plans for redevelopment and develop some concept studies. So more to come. And I was able to submit a application for the U.S. Bank Grant Foundation. This will be to help support our small business development program, Basecamp. So we'll learn more in the coming months to see if that is awarded. We have typically received that, and I hope, knock on wood, that we will in the coming months. In terms of the enterprise zone, you'll see that you have some agenda items coming up later on this meeting. We continue working on the boundary application for the Savencia project. We're moving through units of government and hope to have that application wrapped up the first week of July. We are continuing in general around the enterprise zone to update application forms, update verbiage on our website so that it is a little more user-friendly and straightforward. We're also in conversation with Blackhawk Hills to provide us with some supportive mapping services, just so we can host an interactive map on our website. So if someone is looking to see if their location of their business or the property they own is in the enterprise zone, they can go there, they can type in the address. The hindrance we've had with that thus far is that we have a 2-county zone, that's Stephenson County and Joe Davis County. Both of them have arrangements for their own mapping, but because our enterprise zone straddles 2 counties, I can't refer anybody to one single map that's interactive because they don't host the other county. Anyway, I'm getting into the weeds, but the end result is be more user friendly, and we hope to then, once that's up and running, do a bunch of informational sessions to different stakeholder groups. One would be to the county board, but realtors, bankers, just to help people understand what the enterprise zone is and how to utilize it. There we go. Upcoming, I think Wednesday will be the grand opening or the ribbon cutting. It's been open for a little while, of AutoSmart, which is at the Visitor Center. They are also looking to do a application out there to put on an additional building. Also in conversations with New Astro Queso, German Valley, and housing, kind of a defunct housing development in Freeport that is hoping to get restarted. We continue working with the NAACP Housing Committee. We had we had 2 public engagement sessions, and then we had a follow-up 3rd session, basically a telling of, this is what we heard you say to the group. And from that, we could really distill most of the comments, questions, concerns, could be grouped in 3 different areas. One was around education, housing education, be it for how to become move from renter to homeowner, financial literacy. One about home improvement, what resources exist there, code enforcement, and the other one is housing growth. And thinking of that on 2 fronts, how do you support infill housing development within the city? They've done a good job of going through and demoing lots, but we've not had a plan to how to put in infill housing. And then new development, new housing, where that could be within Freeport and throughout the county. Upcoming things, we have business after hours on the 19th. I know that the county will be closed that day for Juneteenth, and that your county board meeting is the day before, but if you're able, there will be business after hours at FHN. And Music on Chicago is July 3rd to kick off the holiday weekend. I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, very good, thank you, that was a lot.
It's
All good stuff.
good stuff going on. It's busy.
All right, moving on to zoning, yeah, thank you.
Right, $9,773.59 was deposited for the month of May. It was a much better month. We're seeing building permits coming in all the time now, which is great. Total deposit to date for the general fund is $30,508.68. We sent out 5 letters of violation in May. 30 violation letters have been sent out so far in 2025. We still have 3 active violations and 3 pending violations. We have sent out a couple for the weeds and grass and trees nuisance ordinance that was drafted and approved. We did have one, she did mow the lawn, but it's still a mess, so I have to resend another one and tape one on her door. Nicole and I met with Nikita Woods to discuss potential options for Camp Cade, which is the old River Road Trailer Park. They are currently in the permitting process with the Illinois Department of Public Health. In the meantime, Nikita is interested in hosting events at the site to begin generating revenue. My office would issue temporary use permits for anything outside the realm of a campground for this. They did do a fall festival last year with a great turnout. Nicole and I met with a representative from Sol America to discuss an upcoming solar application located at Route 73 and Hershey Road. I attended a meeting with German Helms, Administrator Newcomer, Wally Rummers, County Engineer Dale Rasmussen to discuss maintenance at the landings and Kent Monument. I spoke with Wally today. He is now fully equipped. He showed me his trailer. He showed me the truck, the lawnmower. In this used trailer, he's got storage spots. He's got hooks in there that came with it to hang up like his weed whackers and such. He did mow Brewster's Landing today. We discussed what he should mow at Aiton's Landing and what he should mow at Brewster's, because there's some open green space that we'd like to leave as natural for the birds and such. Let's see. I've been in contact with a due diligence firm to discuss the expansion of Svensia. Also, it's not on my list. I've spoke with someone for Springbrook Cheese. They're looking to expand as well. And then I also toured all the landings in the Kent Monument with Administrator Newcomer and Mark Bell from IPMG, and that took a morning.
Yeah.
I received his report, and Nicole and I attended the IACZO conference down at Starved Rock State Park. That's our annual conference in person. The IDNR was there to discuss floodplain permitting, and a company was there talking about a comprehensive plan. That's all I have.
Sounds like you were busy as well.
Yep.
Very nice. I did not make soil and water last month, and their meeting is coming up, so I will be there this month. So I don't have anything to report on that, and I did not hear anything from recreation and trails.
So we didn't really cover anything.
Okay, Blackhawk Hills. I don't know if you had any comment.
No, we don't have the update. We need to get a hold of,
Mhm.
Dan, have him come to a meeting. It's been a while.
Okay,
If you would, please.
I don't have anything special in the chairman's report, and I don't know that we have anything from our two focus groups tonight, so we'll move on to new business. Approval number one, I guess I can turn it over.
Yes, TPE Illinois is looking to extend their resolution, their approved resolution. There was a letter included in the packet from ComEd, stating for the delay is because of the interconnection. They're working on their transmission lines. In our code, after 2 years, the solar permits expire, the special use application expires after 2 years. It has been 2 years this coming July. So all they have to do is request an extension. I drew up the resolution. Carl approved the resolution. So the resolution is before you. It'll extend it for another 2 years. Yes, 2 years from July 20th.
And we just need to approve, send it on to the full board.
Yes.
If there's any questions, everybody's okay with it?
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
A motion in a second. Anything, any other comments? All those in favor then signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moving on, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to the approval of resolution on the amendment for the agreement for the operation of the E zone at Savencia. Do you want to make comments on that or?
I can, and this is for the project that I know we've talked about before, but around a $7 million investment, 42 additional jobs. They hope to start construction later this year. This will be for a small addition to their building and a reconfiguration of some existing plant space. This will enable them to add a new product line that currently is only being produced in France as we speak. So a great project. And then the opportunity to add all the parcels that Savencia owns into the enterprise zone at the same time to enable any future phases of development. They own 3.
So first we need to approve the intergovernmental agreement and then we approve the boundary amendment, or can we do that together?
You can do it together.
Okay,
Motion to approve.
Second.
any questions? All those in favor of the amendment to the agreement and the amendment to the boundary signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries as well. Approval of the quit claim deeds for the parcels, transfer the properties that was previously approved back in February. And that's part of that landfill.
Yeah, it's back in 2023. And what it was.
Yes, February 23, I see that, yes.
Yeah. Attorney Borneman is here. You can speak on, I think he represents the solar company.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. This will be hopefully relatively quick. I have a couple handouts for everyone. Well, I take that back. I don't have enough for everyone, but I have handouts. Let's start here and we can just take one of each, pass it down. So I just sit here. So yeah, good evening. My name is Eric Borneman and I represent Amoresco. They're a renewable energy company. I'm here with Dawn Fisher. She's the lead engineer for the project that's going on in Freeport. This is in regards to the city's landfill properties. And to get you up to speed here, Georgia, did I give you a copy? You guys, you're just gonna be looking at legal documents, so you're not gonna get much out of it, but there are maps at the back. I always find maps to be helpful. So there's two parcels out of the landfill, and in 1971, the county deeded the north parcel to the city for use to be a municipal sanitary landfill. And then in 1974, they deeded the south parcel. So we have two separate parcels right next to each other. When they deeded the original 1970 deeds, they contain restrictive covenants, which is just a restriction on how the land can be used. And there's basically three. There's four, but two of them are related to the same thing. So there's a restriction that requires the land to be reverted back to the ownership of the county when it ceases to be used as a landfill anymore, which that is why in 2023, there were deeds entered, quitclaim deeds entered that extinguished that restrictive covenant. In those deeds, I think the party's intention was to also extinguish the other two conditions, which were a limitation on the setbacks. There was a 100-foot setback from where buildings could be built on the property. And then there was also a screening requirement that required there to either be fencing or landscape screening. I'm sorry, you taking?
No, you're good.
Okay, I didn't know if you were
You're
taking
good.
minutes. We had to record.
Nope.
Okay, slow down. So anyway, I think the intention of the 2023 deeds was to extinguish all of those covenants. And I think the fair language of those deeds extinguish all those covenants. The thing is, we're dealing with a title insurance underwriter, and their interpretation of this is that the 2023 deeds left it somewhat ambiguous because they only specifically mentioned the reverter covenant, and they don't specifically mention the setback and the screening covenant. And so these deeds are just a housekeeping measure to clarify that through quitclaim, if the county has any interest left in this property, which I don't think the county believes that it does, the city doesn't believe that it does, quitclaim deed allows the county to just say, hey, just to be clear, if we have any interests, we're extinguish them through this deed. And so we're asking that you adopt the new deeds that would clear that up. So basically to please the overly cautious title insurance company. So I'm happy to answer any questions for you. I know I went through that quick, but.
I did speak with Mr. Larson on this and he is in full agreement with everything that what Mr. Borneman said. He, with the deeds that we previously passed, that was his interpretation. So it's more of a clarification.
And then Amoresco has a lease with the city, so they have an interest in this property. So that's why we're here, not the city. But the city, I did speak with city. We did in detail, and they are on board with this and asked that we pursue this as the tenants of the properties.
So you're not representing Freeport at this meeting?
That's right. Correct. Yeah, my client's Amoresco, and I'm here on their behalf. And Dawn's here if you have questions about the project, but that's, kind of beyond the scope of this request. But if you're interested, she's here and knows a lot.
Well, we thank her for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, they do projects all over the country, but they focus, they have a niche in the municipal landfill areas. So they have one in Boone County. Is that right? And that actually is up in.
Yeah, almost, yeah, it's all done, just waiting to produce electricity.
Do you want to make any comments? I'll give you a minute or two if you want to have any comments you'd like to make.
Sure, I could
Sure.
tell you a little bit, so Amoresco is a solar developer, but like Eric was saying, we try to specialize in brownfields, so closed municipal landfills, contaminated land. We also do non-brownfields, but, our focus has been brownfield. So we have one in Alton on a closed landfill, Belvedere, which is owned by Boone County. And that is a community solar project, and one of these two parcels is also a community solar project, so. For Belvedere, Boone County is actually a subscriber too, so they save, costs on their electricity bills through that, so it's a really nice. Partnership on that, so I don't know if Stephenson County ever looks at doing, being a subscriber for community solar gardens. But it's a really straightforward process, it's just, you don't actually get the electricity per se, you just subscribe. And you get credit on your bills, your electricity bills, so. So Boone County's taking advantage of that, so if you ever wanted to reach out to them and hear about their experience on that, it's a pretty nice cost savings. I can't recall the top of my head how much Boone County is saving per year, but it would be, I would say, like in $30,000 to $50,000 a year, every year, so, it's kind of a nice addition, in addition to the lease that we make lease payments, so. But yeah, and so again, appreciate your time, like Eric said, this is just a housekeeping thing, we thought we were all covered. From a couple years ago, but definitely appreciate your time and looking at this tonight. If you have any questions on solar in general or the Illinois programs, happy to answer them, so.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I guess we entertain a motion then to approve the updated quitclaim deeds.
So moved. Second.
Any other comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries as well, and thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for your
Thank
time.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
And next we have approval of an ordinance regulating camping and occupancy of county-owned property.
Yes. Mr. Boardman graciously wrote this for us at the request from Chairman Helms, and I were discussing camping on the parcels that the county owns. Chairman Helms had asked if we should look into an ordinance. Thought it was a good idea since we currently do not have one. I've highlighted a few things in my copy that I could go over. It states that you cannot camp unless you have a permit. Mr. Frick and I were speaking earlier, where would the permit come from? I can drop a permit, it can be available in the administration office, it could be in the zoning office, wherever. They would have to call in, get a permit, then we can let Wally know if that area is going to be used, we can get it nice and clean for them. And of course, it states with the vehicles from the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. over 2 consecutive hours, that can constitute parking. Mr. Frick did bring up an idea of a QR code as well, which would be great that they could pay right using that QR code if they camped. Also, and it's only for a temporary permit of not exceeding 3 days. More than likely, this is just for the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts that do the river floats. We've had several in the past years. We had one group ask last year, I don't think the weather even permitted. I think was the river high last year? We didn't even have docks in. And then the year before, they were asked, and I don't think that was ever set up. So it's pretty much straightforward. We don't have a cost on here, but we can figure that out as well if we're going to charge for a camping permit. I know campgrounds all charge, so we would figure out what the permit cost would be. And then, of course, he has penalties and remedies for violation that are in there straightforward. First violation within 12-month rolling 12 months would be $100. Second or third or more would be $200, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
What about liability, county liability?
I was just gonna ask you, I was like, who's that list to mine?
Don't
We talked
we
about it
talked
when
about
he
it
was here.
before, yes,
We'll have to have them.
yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
just so you're aware, the state of Illinois there's been a push to allow public camping on any government-owned property.
Okay.
In theory, if that were to pass, they camp in the courthouse in the grass if they want.
That's all.
So While liability is important on this, we do need to make sure that we're covered. The whole point of the permitting, in my mind, is hopefully restrict that and have some sort of language in there that would allow us to have people move on instead of just living,
Right.
not really living, but camping for weeks on
No,
end.
I understand.
So that's the point behind it. In Springfield, when they were doing, they had protests a year or two ago. It turned into something that was way out of control and it just went on indefinitely. And I think there was a lawsuit involved. They tried to evict the people and a judge told them they could stay because it was a public park. And it was weeks. Went way beyond a protest.
Right.
Other comments? What we need then is to approval of, do we approve that ordinance here? Do we have to pass that on to, we have to pass that on, don't we?
I don't think you do. Doesn't have to be.
Do you know?
Yeah, I thought this would go before the county board.
Well, you can approve it pending litigate or liability review.
Or we can sit on it if you wanna wait and find
Way
out.
to.
Preferably get it done sooner rather than later in case something comes up, the nicer months are coming up. We can, like Chairman Helms said, approve prior to, or, you know, with it pending liability.
That sounds like a good idea. Approved,
Okay,
pending.
is that motion?
That's a motion.
May I have a second? Any other comments?
Yep, I'm ready now.
We have a motion to approve the camping and unauthorized occupancy ordinance pending discovery on the liability. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries as well. Moving on, executive sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Roll call, vote.
Yeah.
We have a motion to go into executive session. So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
I need you. Mr. Diddens? Yes?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Aye. Ms. Baker, Steve Burke, yes?
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Lowell.
So I can just leave, so.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Picking up pizza on the way home?
No, I cooked before I came in.
Oh.
I'm a good non-wife.
You're a bakery.
I'm very-